in love.
I felt bad for a while about Miss Dietz, but Mom told me to stop fretting about it. She said the problem was Miss Dietz had just been too delicate to teach third grade in our part of the country. We boys fell instantly in love with Miss Dietz, but none more other than my best friend, Crazy Eddie Muldoon. I loved her quite a bit myself at first, but Eddie would volunteer to skip recess so he could clean the blackboards whether they needed cleaning or not. Third grade must have had the cleanest boards in the entire history of Delmore Blight Grade School. For me, love was one thing, recess another. God had not intended the two to interfere with each other. She was depriving me of my best friend's company, and bit by bit, I began to hate her. Then one day, Miss Dietz made her fateful error. Show and tell. Words that can bring joy or strike fear into the hearts of children everywhere. If you have something cool or expensive to bring, you're great. But if you don't, and you're in elementary school, well, let's just say the results could be life-changing. Muldoon in Love by Patrick McManus. Now, pupils, I think it important for all young ladies and gentlemen to be able to speak in front of groups. So for the next few weeks, we are going to have show and tell. Each day, one of you will bring one of your more interesting possessions to school, show it to the class, then tell us all about it. Doesn't that sound like fun? I need more time. Like about 15 years. There were coin collections, doll collections, baseball card collections, model airplanes powered by their own little engines, and on until we had exhausted the supply of rich kids in class. Finally, we were now down to us country kids, among whom there were no volunteers. Rudy Griddle, ordered by Miss Dietz to be the first of us to make a presentation, shuffled to the front of the room, his violent shaking surrounding him with a mist of cold sweat. He opened a battered cigar box and tilted up the contents. This here's my collection of cigarette butts. I picked them up along the road. You notice there ain't any shorter than an inch. They's an inch longer than keepers. Some folks just pick up cigarette butts to smoke, but I don't. I just collect them for educational purposes. Thank you. The class turned to look at Miss Dietz. Her mouth was twisted in revulsion. Suddenly, someone started clapping. Crazy Eddie Muldoon was applauding. Yay! Good job, Rudy! Soon, everyone was clapping and cheering. From now on, show and tell would be really interesting. Farley Cart brought in the skunk hide he had tanned himself. Bill Stanton brought in his collection of dried wildlife droppings. Show and tell had begun to take its toll on Miss Dietz. She became cross and jumpy. Once I think she went into the coat room and cried. Finally, I went with my road-killed toad, explaining how it had been flattened by a truck and afterwards had driven on the pavement until I came along and peeled it up to save it for posterity. Soon only Margaret Fisher and Crazy Eddie were left to do their show and tells. I knew Eddie was planning to use several pig organs from a recent butchering, but Margaret changed his plans. She brought in a cardboard box and proudly carried it to the front of the room. Miss Dietz backed off to a far corner, her hands fluttering nervously about her mouth, as Margaret pried up the lid of a box. A mother cat and 4 cute baby kittens stuck out their heads. Everyone oohed and ahed. Miss Dietz went over and picked up one of the kittens and told Margaret what a wonderful idea she had. At recess, Eddie was frantic. I can't use the pig stuff now. I'd come up with something live that has cute babies. How about using Henry? Yeah, Henry's cute, but he don't have no babies. I know some things we can use and just say they're his babies, but you better call Henry a girl's name. Miss Dietz won't know the difference. Everyone in third grade counted on Crazy Eddie Muldoon to come up with a spectacular grand finale. An air of great expectation filled the room as Eddie, carrying a lard pail, marched up to make his presentation. Even Miss Dietz seemed to be looking forward to this event, possibly because it was the end of show and tell. Eddie flipped off the lid of the lard pail, in which he had punched air holes in. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here's Henrietta Muldoon, my pet gardener snake. He held up the writhing Henry. Miss Dietz sucked in her breath with such force she stirred papers on the desk clear across the room. And that's not all. Here, ladies and gentlemen, are her babies. He held squirming mass of night crawlers we had collected the evening before. We were stunned to learn that human vocal cords could produce such an unearthly sound, and those of a third-grade teacher at that. Mr. Cobb, the principal, came and led Miss Deets away, and we never saw her again. We heard later that she had gone back to the city to teach school, where all the kids were rich and she could lead a peaceful and productive life. As the door closed behind her, I turned to Eddie. I think you've cleaned your last billboard for Miss Deets. Yeah, I suspect you're right, but you gotta admit that was one whale of a show and tell.